What's new this week, Hikaru? Well, funny you should ask. Actually, a lot. Without getting too much into it, I recently got sponsored by G Fuel. Yippee! But this isn't a sponsored video or anything. This is a video about sponsorships. As someone who's been a content creator in the space for about 5 years now, I wanted to give some tips and tricks, especially to newer content creators who are just starting out. So let's get right into it. I'll be divvying up this video into 3 major parts. First, about the different types of sponsorships out there. Second, some standards that I like to live by and what to be careful of. And third, stories about current and previous sponsorships I've taken part in and participated in, and the lessons I've learned from them. Let's talk about small content creators and sponsors. When I first started out, it seemed like sponsorships were the ultimate godsend. A company that pays you to talk and advertise their products, it sounds really simple and easy. And in a sense, they kinda are. But in a lot of other ways, they probably aren't the solution to all or if any of your problems, depending on the size of creator that you are. The most common types of sponsorships that are easy to get are the affiliate programs out there. Basically, a company will accept almost any size creator and offer them a cut to advertise their products. They'll give you a code and give you a simple media kit to help you get started and ask you to promote their product for them. Some very common ones are like G Fuel, GG Subs, Advanced.gg. Think those drink companies. Honestly, it depends on how much work you want to put into it on your part, and they pay you pretty much nothing unless you sell some stuff for them. Usually the commissions are only like 10 to 20%. That means that if you buy $100 worth of gamer subs, your favorite content creator will see roughly $10 of that before taxes and fees. It's not great, but hey, if you know a bunch of people that are already buying it, taking the deal and promoting it to everyone once in a while is really no big deal. These types of affiliate programs are great to help you get your foot in the door and can be useful to help build your creator portfolio. Sometimes brands do ask if you've ever taken a sponsorship before, and it helps give you some experience under your belt. Next, there's the types of sponsorships that run pretty short or generally shorter, maybe a few weeks to a month, and they want roughly the same thing, just to promote a product or maybe a game for a company, and they'll pay you some amount plus extra based on how well you do. Base pay is huge because a lot of smaller content creators don't even make close enough to be able to make a living off of promoting to their small communities. These types of sponsorships are things like stream elements. In my opinion, these are definitely some of the best things out there to help out content creators. I gotta say, even for a small streamer of my size, I only get like maybe 1 or 2 people to sign up for something like HelloFresh or to play one of those games that you see as advertised. That's why the base pay is so nice. Out of every 100 people, you might be able to get like 2 or 3 to try the thing that you're doing at the moment. Not to mention, if you're a niche type of content creator like myself who mainly specializes in one type of game, if you start to play another type of game, or if you try to promote something out of the ordinary, unless you really try to sell it to your community, the algorithm is going to try to push it under. And the last type are the bigger contract ones for things like large events. These are probably the best in terms of work to output ratio. They're pretty low committal as well. Typically, they offer much more than just a small amount, and usually these are pretty rare, like tournaments to promote the launch of a new game or to get like a bunch of content creators to participate with each other to promote their brand. These are usually only done by larger, like much larger content creators with viewership in the consistent hundreds. Also, they don't really come by too frequently. I think when most people hear sponsorships, they think about things like these because these are the best kinds if you can get them. I've only been a part of maybe like 3 or 4 of these, and they're pretty great. I can't say they're too reliable though. Anyways, these are probably the 3 most common types of sponsorships that you'll see when you're starting out as a content creator. They're listed in order of smallest to largest, and in order of which ones are the easiest and hardest to get. Now, let's talk about some things about those sponsorships, because this is where we get into the nitty-gritty of things, and where I start offering my opinions. So take whatever you want out of this with a grain of salt, because not everything I say is going to be uniquely applicable to your experience, but they're my experiences to add to the data pool, and try to apply it to your knowledge pool as well. So the first thing is that sponsorships should be done responsibly. Don't accept every sponsorship you are offered. The first and most important thing that you have to remember is that any company is created to make money. That is their end goal. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if you want to be a full-time content creator, for most people that aren't already super rich, we kind of have to make enough money to live. Big companies aren't some divine entity with some unlimited amount of money. They're just made up of people just like you and me. There's big companies, there's small companies, just like you and me, they can make mistakes. Sometimes really, really big mistakes. I'm not sure if anyone remembers this, but a while back ago, there was a PC parts company by the name of Artesian Builds, and they came up with this brilliant idea of sponsoring a bunch of smaller content creators. In reality, it's a partnership agreement that, not gonna lie, looks a little pyramid schemey, but this was my first wake-up call as a content creator. I think at first, I was so excited about getting my first ever sponsorship that I didn't realize the actual cost of attaching something to my name. I think that most people would think like, hey, if you're already getting X item, just use my referral code and you get a percentage off of what you get for supporting the creator. And I think that's great. That's fine. But remember that if you put that in there, you're kind of endorsing the product and the company that you're selling from. Sometimes this can seem like it's kind of a predatory business practice. The number one job that most kids want nowadays is to be an influencer. And for every one person that makes it, many, many thousands don't. This might just be me, but I'm kind of sick of seeing the TikToks out there that tell you, oh, if you want to be successful, you gotta do this, 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 and this. But the truth of the matter is, there's not exactly always one right answer to get to the path that you want. And just because they got to succeed, it doesn't mean that everyone else is also going to have that succeed. The truth of the matter is, if they're doing this video and it blew up, if you do the same video, it's not necessarily going to blow up because everyone's already watching this video. Do you get what I mean? A lot of content creators who do blow up usually have to find their own path in making what works for them. Just like how I'm not an 18+ streamer, a lot of the sponsorships that I take on won't necessarily work for someone who is an 18+ content creator. A lot of smaller content creators who want to make their dream a reality will jump at any opportunity to make ends meet. And sometimes businesses will take advantage of that. Now, don't get me wrong and don't twist my words because this does apply both ways. There are some content creators out there that try to take advantage of companies as much as they can. But like I said, companies sometimes are just like 2 or 3 people trying to make a living themselves by selling their own product. And sometimes partnering with content creators seems like a cool idea. That's why content creation and businesses need to be mutually beneficial to each other. And why we need to have a good cooperative experience. Just because you're trying to grow your brand as a content creator, companies are also trying to grow theirs. I always go into a transaction thinking about how we both can benefit, rather than how can I take advantage of this opportunity. And if it doesn't seem mutually beneficial, don't feel obligated to sign or do anything. Nowadays, a lot of these affiliate contracts have clauses that let you back out of them with no penalty. And definitely keep an eye out that, because honestly, some things can go a little deeper than that. The next piece of advice that I want to give in terms of sponsorship ethics is kind of another story about my second wake-up call. And this is when I was partnering with GG Subs. So I used to have a sponsorship with them before, and I kind of signed up with them with the same mentality. They sent me a couple of small samples of their stuff, and it was actually not really bad in taste. The issue is that something in it was giving me a headache. I didn't really put 2 and 2 together at first, but something in that drink was giving me a headache. I'm not exactly sure what it was. Maybe it was the copious amount of caffeine in it, maybe it was just the flavoring, but apparently some things like the type of sweetener that they use, the type of food coloring, or even just like certain flavors and the type of caffeine, a lot of people can't have those kinds of things. And if they do, they could get really sick or get a really bad headache from it. They have a caffeine-free version of it, and when I tried that, I wasn't feeling great about it either. It wasn't until I asked around about it that I figured out like what the issues were surrounding this drink. I'm not saying they have this anymore, but me personally, I can't have this drink. And if I happen to push this on some of my fellow community members and they manage to get a headache from it, I would definitely feel bad about something like that. From then on, I kind of made sure that I only take sponsorships in things that I truly believed in, and it had to be something that I liked and enjoyed myself and has very, very little risk. It's kind of like if you take a sponsorship from a computer company and every like month or so, the computer breaks down. I would not want to partner with that company anymore. Now, I know I kind of put 2 and 3 together, but this video has kind of gone on for quite a while. As you all know, I'm out for Anime NYC this weekend, and the last thing I want to talk about is kind of like a sponsorship from them. This is kind of like a bigger deal to me, and I want to tell you guys more about it. I'll let you guys know how it goes after I get back from my trip. I'm going to be at Anime NYC from the 22nd to the 24th. That's a Friday through a Sunday plan. I plan to record and make some videos while I'm there. They sent me this message about how these can lead to future opportunities, and I'm kind of curious about what that actually means. So I'm going to do my best and see what it can get me so I can share that information with you guys and see if it's worth the trouble. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this helps you guys out, especially newer content creators out there. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!